Welcome, everybody. This is Trevor Truck ASMR, and as you can see here, I'm playing Mario Kart World, and this is the knockout tour, which means if you don't finish in a certain place, you could get eliminated. But we don't want that to happen. I'm starting to think we've lost connection. It usually doesn't take this long. No. Oh, wait, it's going. Okay. So we're gonna start out here. And hey, this isn't so bad. We're starting out in second place. What a perfect beginning to the day. But you know, a common little nugget of wisdom is, you don't want to hold first place for too long. Because, that's typically where things go wrong. You want to try to find a middle ground. And once you do that, you just keep it as long as you can. You know, it's funny. I did not expect to start my day feeling emotional, you know, like, and it has nothing to do with Mario Kart World. I mean, trust me, this game does make me cry tears of sadness quite a bit. I mean, hold on, I'm gonna hold my breath. Alright, we made it. But no, it all begins with this show called The Blacklist. It's on Netflix. If you haven't seen it before, I highly recommend it. Great friend of mine at work actually recommended that I start watching it, and I think there's a lot of seasons of it. And I think it used to be sort of like, you know, your typical primetime slot. Wow, I just completely missed that. Anyway, it's a really good show. Highly recommended. I think the characters in the show are really what sell it. Especially the main character, Reddington, I think, played by James Spader. I highly recommend watching this. But anyway, it's like your typical crime show. It's like the FBI, and Reddington is, you know, he's kind of a criminal. He's a sketchy dude, but he's also helping the FBI to take down the world's most wanted criminals. He's agreeing to help the FBI out, and it's kind of like a very uneasy partnership. I don't want to spoil too much, but there was an episode that I watched earlier this morning. You know, I was doing my morning routine, and a lot of times when I'm eating breakfast or doing some chores to start my day, I'll watch something, whether it's on YouTube or Netflix. And so I was watching the episode, and towards the end of it, there was this song that was playing. Reddington was listening to it just before he put the kibosh on someone. And the song was from an artist whose name is Gordon Lightfoot. You know, this guy was big, I think, like in the 70s, maybe a little bit into the 80s. Anyway, the type of music that Gordon Lightfoot plays is kind of like folk music. It has, I don't know, I think Gordon Lightfoot is I think he's a little bit Irish, or a lot Irish, I'm not sure. Not exactly an expert. I just like his music. But you can tell that a lot of his music is inspired by old traditional Irish storytelling and songwriting, and his music is really good. If you've never checked out Gordon Lightfoot, like you really, if you never heard his music, you need to check it out because it's pretty good. Anyway, this story has taken me forever to get to the punchline. Not that it's a joke, but point is, I just happened to hear that song while I was watching the show, and the song is called Sundown, and it's one of the greatest songs that I've ever heard. And it's just, there's something about artists who sit down with a microphone and a guitar, and they play the guitar and they sing. You know, I guess you could say that they're singer-songwriters, but there's always like a deep story with a song that has a great hook to it, a great chorus that's really compelling. And for me, Sundown is one of those songs. But anyway, that song played on the show, and I thought to myself, you know, I'm really in a Gordon Lightfoot type of mood. So I decided that while I was doing my chores, I would just make a small playlist of this guy's music, and I would listen while I was working, right? Well then, here comes a song, and of course Sundown was on the playlist, but there is another song that Gordon Lightfoot is really known for, and I swear, it's one of the most epic songs that I think any person could write. The song is called The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which is a song to honor all the people who were lost when that ship, the Edmund Fitzgerald, it just, you know, it went down. And I think, so first of all, this is a real life event. This is something that actually happened. And the song is really long. Like, there are a lot of verses, but in between those verses, you hear a lot of like this epic guitar, and it's just an amazing song from start to finish, and it's very somber and it's very serious. And I think really what Gordon Lightfoot does best is he is a storyteller, right? He tells a story, even though this one is a very grave, sort of serious story. And it's just an epic song. And yeah, it is a long song, but if you've never heard it before, again, it's another one that I highly recommend. I mean, look, I'm a metalhead, right? I listen to a lot of intense stuff. I love rock music, but the older I get, I also really like the older music, the classic rock, the classic, softer type of songs. Gordon Lightfoot is no exception. So, anyway, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald tells the story, you know, of what happened to the crew, or at least the best estimation of what their final thoughts and what their final moments were. And Gordon just, he kills it. He slays it. His voice is so, I don't know. I want to describe his voice as like golden. You know, it's just a rich voice. And then the guitar work, like the solos that play in between the verses. I'm a huge fan of that. And it's very compelling. This isn't the type of song that you listen to when you're, you know, like when you want to just fall asleep. This is a song that kind of demands your attention. You know, that's the type of song that it is. I realize that we're doing the same exact tour as last time, by the way. I was hoping to get something different, but you know what? We are gonna work with what we have, alright? Anyway, I started this whole thing by saying I wasn't expecting to get all emotional this morning, but when I heard that song, like, I just started crying. And I think it's weird because I wasn't alive when the song was written, and I wasn't alive when, the ship went down. And I don't know any of the victims. I don't know any of the families of the victims. I don't have like a clear connection to the events that took place. And yet here I am feeling a type of, what would you call it, grief for something that I never experienced before. And I point this out because music is always something that I connect to in a weird way. I could read a book, I could watch a movie, but really it's music that has this direct connection to my heart. And it's kind of like, have you ever heard before that your sense of smell is the one sense that we have that is the most intimately connected with our sense of memory? So like if you were to take a whiff of a smell that you haven't smelled in over 20 years, you would likely sort of have almost like you would have a recall that you would not normally get with your other senses, right? And it's funny because I feel like I could use that as an analogy to the way I feel with music. Music is like an instant highway to my emotions, and as long as I've lived, I've never figured out why. I don't know why. All I know is that music is really important to me. And I think it's always been important to me, but it's not until I became an adult that I started to realize how significant it is to my life. I mean, and when I sit down and I think about it, I realize something. I realize that music has always played a part in my life, When I was in high school and in college, my brother and I, we played the Guitar Hero games, but that was nothing compared to actually playing music with real instruments and creating songs. So, my brother and I played the electric drum kit, and my brother played his old guitar that he got way back now, 2009. He has a lot of guitars though. He's collected some more ever since. And occasionally I would play the bass, but I wasn't really good at it, and I didn't have as much interest in it as I do now. And in the old days, my brother would play the guitar and he would sing, so he's basically playing rhythm and he would sing the songs, and we would work together. I would write some lyrics, he would write some lyrics, and that's just how we did things, And it was fun. And we didn't take it all that seriously at first. It was just for fun. I mean, I literally wrote a song about the rebels retreating from Hoth when the Empire invaded. I literally wrote a song about that. It's called Retreat. And it might be longer than the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. It might actually be, like, I don't know, I think it was like 10 minutes long, most of it instrumental, but then every now and then you'd get some crazy verse about how the rebels have to retreat off of Hoth. If you haven't watched Star Wars, or if you're not a Star Wars fan, you have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's fine. Trust me, I understand. The whole Hoth situation is, I don't know why I felt the need to write a song about it, but I'm not even lying. I did that. Let's see if God's favor is shining on us today. Can we get... Oh, that was phenomenal. Alright, move, Yoshi. I got a race to win. So anyway, what was I saying? This conversation kinda went off the rails, I'm not gonna lie. So, anyway, the point is, my brother and I, we played music, and it was fun. And we recorded so many songs, an ungodly number of songs, you know? And we recorded them with a cheap laptop. I forget, I think it was my brother's laptop we used most of the time. And we recorded with, of all things, a Guitar Hero microphone. That's right. We didn't have no Blue Yeti, right? We didn't have one of those fancy pants microphones. We had the USB Guitar Hero microphone. And, believe it or not, it suited our needs just fine. I mean, we weren't exactly trying to create a AAA album here. We were just trying to make music. You know, just for the fun of it. Oh, man. This is always where I get eliminated. But, I mean, I did a pretty okay job this time around. Alright. Let's go ahead and let's try one last knockout tour. Okay, everyone, so here's my goal. Alright, here's my goal. What I want to do is I want to win first place on a knockout tour, and I want to record it. That's my goal for this series of videos. I want to finish first, and I want everyone to see it so that I can prove that I'm a master at Mario Kart. And yes, I am playing as a dolphin, and I'm riding on a dolphin motorcycle. Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? That's right, I quoted Alanis Morissette. You know, the funny thing about that song is that, people make such a big deal out of the fact that the song has 0 strict examples of irony. You know, like talking about rain on a wedding day, or 10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife. Those aren't strict examples of irony. You know, all the literature majors are starting to gather around this video. I don't wanna be the cause of their anger, so I'm gonna tread really carefully. The thing about that song is, I think you have to take it on the nose. Like, I think you have to just... Sure, it may not have strict examples of irony, you know, definitionally, but it's a good song, and keep in mind that it's one of those songs that I think really defined the 90s, you know. If I had to guess, I'd say the song came out in 95. That would just be my guess, but it's a great song. And if you spend so much time thinking about how, well, none of these examples are ironic. If you spend too much time on that, what happens is you miss the forest for the trees. And that would be a tragedy. You know? I recently watched this video breaking down the song Ironic by a YouTuber whose name is 12 Tone. And if you're a music head like me, you know, like, even if you don't understand music theory, like me, I love watching 12 Tone's videos where he breaks down popular songs and explains why these songs are popular, why they work, and all the strange little methods that people use to kind of just make songs stand out the way that they do. So when I watched 12 Tone's video on Ironic, I learned a lot. And I saw the song in a way that maybe I hadn't seen it before. So it's amazing, you know, what people who are much smarter than me, it's amazing what they can discover and the knowledge that they can share regarding songs like these, you know? I think it's really fascinating how much thought goes into creating songs, you know? And, you know, I thought I was, you know, deep, because I remember, like, I would go to the... I had this habit of writing lyrics for me and my brother in our quote-unquote band, and I would spend afternoons in the campus library writing lyrics in a notebook, and I got more passion out of that than whatever work I was supposed to be doing. It's funny how things work like that. And you know what? Maybe that's the biggest irony of all. I feel like I had to go to college to discover what I don't want to do with my life. I think that might be the biggest irony of all. And you know what? If that's not the strict definition of irony, if that's not a good example, I really don't care, because that's not the point. It's just not the point. The point is, life is funny. As Alanis Morissette says, life has a funny way of helping you out. I choose to think that sometimes the misfortunes that we have, or the doors that close, that is kind of life's funny way of helping us out, you know? Because sometimes we actually don't know what's best for us. And then life just kind of surprises us, you know? I mean, hell, 5 years ago, did I think that I would be here? No, of course not. I mean, it's unpredictable, right? You can't know everything. You can't, you know, get a crystal ball and see the future. Like, just now, I didn't know that I was gonna waste 3 green shells and completely miss what should have been an easy shot, you know? You just can't foresee these types of things. But anyway, it's getting down to the wire, and I am getting bulldozed by my fellow racers here. It's not fair. It is not right. That's why I have a bullet bill and a lightning at the same time. What a great combination. It's like Nutella and peanut butter. It's just perfect. Alright everyone, well, can we do this? Or will we lose? Well, we lost. But we lost by a very small margin. Alright everyone, so I'm sad to say this is where the video ends, and I gotta tell you, I need to have these deep conversations more often when I play, because quite honestly, I wasn't paying that much attention to the race. Not until, like, the very end. Anyway, guys, I don't know what you thought of this, but I hope you liked it, and hopefully it relaxed you. Alright, so best of luck to this Wario player, Tortuga. I don't see Wario's win all that often. Alright, everybody. Good day, or good night. I'll see you in another video. Goodbye.